This is the most important thing you should be focusing on as a game developer. And it is here. It is your mind. As a game developer, you always use your brain for stuff. You're thinking, you're programming, you're doing modeling. This all requires you to have a healthy, good, squishy brain. Unless you're making a VR game, you're going to be sitting down all day thinking. If you're making a VR game, you're going to do some fun playtesting. But apart from that, you're also going to be sitting down and thinking. So make sure your brain is healthy and good and productive and ready to have all of those complicated game dev thoughts like, oh, I have a bug again, and stuff like that. Now, a quick disclaimer, this video isn't focused on people with serious mental health problems. This video is focused on the average game developer who doesn't have anything like very major going on. If you have something very major going on, please go for some like more serious option than a YouTube video to resolve those problems like therapy or stuff like that. If you don't quite understand why I'm mentioning mental health here instead of 3D modeling, programming, whatever, it is because you can't learn any more skills or do anything in your work if your mental health is suboptimal. If you're 3D modeling and you're thinking about like, oh no, I have to do this thing and there's all of these negative thoughts going on in your brain, you're not going to be able to focus on the model. If you're programming and you're thinking like, oh no, I have to do this and this and this, and oh no, this is all going wrong, that's not going to be productive and helpful to your code that day. Now, of course, this won't only help you in your game development journey. This will also help you in anything else in your life to improve your mental health. So even if you're not a game developer, stick around and see like how you can improve your mind and brain and your gooey gray matter. So let's get right into what you need to do to improve your mental health and how you can just improve your productivity and happiness in general. So first we're going to start with kicking out the bad habits. Now, what are the bad habits? You probably know, right? You probably know that drugs are bad for you. Don't do heroin if you want to be a productive game developer, of course. However, this isn't like the limit to the bad habits. Social media can often be a bad habit unless you're using it like for your game development, of course. So why is social media so bad for your mental health? A lot of social media is quite obviously bad for your mental health. Instagram, for example, is just people showing how they're better than you. No one's going to post like, oh, I had a horrible day today. Everyone posts like, oh, hey, I got a new promotion. Oh, hey, I'm having such a fun vacation, which might decrease your general happiness subconsciously. YouTube is my least favorite social media and my favorite social media because I use it a lot. I get a lot out of it, but also it's horrible and there's just so many funny memes that also waste my time. I'm still working on reducing my YouTube watch time. However, it's a process and of course it's going to take a while for you to reduce your bad habits. Excessive gaming is another one. If you're gaming a couple hours a day or a week, I don't think it's a problem for your mental health. However, if you're playing for like 10 hours a day, it's going to impact your productivity and also it's going to impact your happiness. So I've heard several times now about this concept that dopamine reduces after doing a fun activity. This might not exactly be dopamine, but something, you start having less fun after doing something fun. So for example, you play video games or you look at social media for a couple hours. It might be fun and then it will reduce and go back below where it was before. So imagine you are currently here and then you look at Instagram for a while. It might go up because you're fun, wow, Instagram, pretty pictures, and then you're done and then it just goes back down and it actually goes slightly below where it was before, and this keeps happening over and over and over again, and eventually just stuff becomes less fun, especially productive things become less interesting to do. Of course, I'm not saying you should delete your Instagram or your Twitter or whatever, because these can be great tools for your game development journey as they are great avenues for marketing. So I recommend instead of these bad habits, you do the good habits. Of course, it's very easy for me to say, but it's still going to be hard for you to stick to all of these things. Now, if you don't know any other activities apart from the ones I'm going to mention now that you should do instead of social media or whatever, playing video games, I recommend the practice of just looking at your wall, thinking, what else can I do? This has really helped me because often I would instead of like just thinking about things, I'll think about them in the background like, oh hey, I'll look up some stuff or I'll Google some stuff about how I maybe can fix these problems. That's not going to fix your problem, generally speaking. What tends to help me is to think without any input, just think about it, think about your problem, maybe journal about it. But this process of just thinking is a great way to discover new activities you could be doing instead of the stuff you would do before. And in addition to that, it will reduce the amount of fun, like instant gratification activities you're doing, like social media. So in short, doing nothing at all is always better than doing one of the bad habits. So I've been doing these good habits for a little bit now. I've already noticed big improvements in my mental health. Now, before we get into all of these good habits I'm going to talk about, first, I want you to check out my game, Open Fishing XL, because that's why I'm making this video. It's just marketing. I don't care about your mental No, all right. I do care about your mental health, but also this is marketing for me. So please go buy my game, Weapon Fishing Excel. It's around $5 on Steam. It's not that expensive. It's fun. It's great. Please buy it. Also, please like and subscribe. This was my begging for money and likes. Now, please enjoy my good tips on your mental health. So starting off the good habits with meditation. Now, meditation is something that, sure, like, oh, I've tried it and it didn't work for me. A lot of the time people say this. I have personally also done this before. I've done a lot of meditation. I've had a lady like teach me how to meditate and stuff. It never really stuck with me until I heard this piece of advice. So whenever you meditate, you always think like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to not be thinking anything. I'm supposed to just have a clear mind. And then when it inevitably happens that you have a thought, you're like, oh man, I messed it up. Oh no, what am I going to do now? But I guess meditation just doesn't work for me because I can't get to that place of no thoughts. That's what I used to think personally, which is why I always dislike meditation. It's supposed to calm me down. And oh no, it doesn't because because I can't get to that place. And of course you can't because it's really hard. Like even people who have meditated for like years and years and years can stay there for like a very short amount of time and then they get distracted again. So instead of doing that, what I see and what science has proved is actually what makes you better at meditation and life in general because of meditation. So instead of seeing this as a negative thing, whenever you lose focus on your breath or the sounds, I like to listen to sounds of birds because it is something else than my breath and I start breathing weird if I focus on my breath. If you just focus on whatever thing you're focusing on and you get distracted, you might think, oh no, I messed up. But actually, this is the second step to you getting better at meditating and getting the results you want from meditating. First, you focus on the thing. Then you get distracted from something, but you haven't noticed it yet. Then you notice it, and that's the crucial thing. You notice it, and then you go back to the thing you're focusing on. So this cycle is what makes you better at meditating and makes your life better because of meditating. So anytime you do this cycle, you get better at meditating, you get the results you want from meditating, which is improved focus. Like there's a whole long list of benefits to meditation. I'm not going to go through everything. This video would be 2 hours long if you went to every benefit. So this cycle really helped me understand better what I'm supposed to do while meditating. I'm supposed to refocus, not just focus. Because imagine if you did focus entirely on this thing for 2 hours, your brain wouldn't need to change. There wouldn't be any stimulus to your brain. You would just be doing it. This is what got me to meditate. This mindset shift into thinking, oh yeah, it's good when I get distracted because then I can refocus. That's another cycle to get me better at meditating, better at focusing, better at being a person in the world. So if you meditate every day, even if you start with 30 seconds, this might not have the huge advantage of meditating for an hour or whatever, but that might help you to stick to actually meditating, not thinking, oh no, I can't do 20 minutes today. Yeah, but you can do 30 seconds a day. So do the 30 seconds. Now, I haven't actually explained to you how to meditate. How to meditate is a subject I don't know much about personally. I just sit down and focus on birds and then I get distracted and I refocus on the birds. I'm not an expert in this. Just download a meditation app and do whatever it says. So what I recommend to you now is pause this video, download a meditation app and actually do one meditation and come back. This should help you to not like go, oh hey, I watched a YouTube video, oh wow, great. You actually have taken some action, so you might actually stick to it. Journaling is another great thing that has really helped my mental health. I've noticed that I'm more grateful now. I've been doing gratitude journaling for the most part. And I've also noticed another type of journaling has really helped me manage my stress. So I'm not sure if this type of journaling actually has a name. It's just something that's helped me personally and that I saw in an article somewhere. It's stress journaling, or that's what I call it. It's writing down whatever you're stressed about and then what you can do about that stress. Now don't think, oh well, this stress I'm experiencing because like something bad happened to me. Well, that still means that you can do something about it, which is accept it. This might be hard. This is not something you should think like, oh, well, if I've written down what to do about it, I have to immediately do that. It's just for your brain to get out all of your stressors and to then know what it can do about them. And often it really helps me to de-stress. Instead of having all these jumbled bits of stress in my brain and knowing what I can do, I have it clearly listed there. I can act on the things that are stressing me out. Or I cannot. I can just go like, oh no, I'll do that later. Or very often I do this before bed to de-stress before bed. And I just realize I can't do anything about this apart from going, yep, that sure is stressful. And that actually helps me like reduce my amounts of stress. Just accepting, oh yeah, I will be stressed will actually make you way less stressed. So that is one type of journaling I do. Another type of journaling I do is gratitude journaling. Now this is kind of the opposite of stress journaling almost. It's writing down what you're grateful for. So for example, I'm really grateful for my watch. It's a nice little Casio watch. It's nice, it makes me happy. It has a timer. I'm very grateful that it has a timer. And then you just write down Casio watch or whatever. Or you just write down my mom or my dad or my sister or my whatever. Just anything you're grateful for. I'm sure you can just look around your desk, think like, oh yeah, I'm grateful for this microphone, even though it kind of sucks. And you hear a bunch of echo in my room. Maybe it's not the microphone's fault. I don't know. Anyway, I'm grateful for this timer that I use for timing stuff. I'm grateful for this cup I have with water in it. Grateful for lots of stuff. This might be hard at the beginning, but I recommend you stick to it. I do this every day, generally speaking. And I found it's helped me to more often realize, oh wow, I'm really grateful for these flowers while I'm on a walk. Or I'm really grateful for this thing. Or like, I just notice gratefulness more. Even if I've done it for like 24 days now. Not even in a row, just 24 days. So that's journaling. Another thing that's helped my mental health is physical health. Now, a long time ago, like several years ago, I would just not go outside. This section isn't just here to tell you to touch grass, of course, but it is partially here to tell you go outside every day at least once. Even if it's 10 minutes, just do it. But apart from touching grass, which you know is good for you, there's other things too. So your diet, you shouldn't be eating junk food every day. So you know what's good for you, vegetables, bread, whatever, it's just stuff that's not like McDonald's. That's good for your health. We all know it. We all know how this works. It gives you more energy. It doesn't drain you as much as eating like a hamburger. I've never actually had a hamburger. I'm allergic to meat. So stuff like that is just like invaluable to your health. Even if it takes you slightly longer to cook. Oh, but like if I get McDonald's on my way home from work, then I can work on my game for longer. Sure, but will you have better brain functioning during working on your game instead of if you had cooked at home for like 15 minutes. I can cook noodles in like 15 minutes, like healthy, nutritious, vegetable-laden noodles. They're delicious. They're much better than McDonald's too. It might be slightly more effort, but it's totally worth it to invest in your health, invest in good, nutritious food and the time that it takes to cook it. I notice personally whenever I eat noodles with like some nice vegetables on them, I have much more energy after compared to if I ate whatever. Like especially like it's not even unhealthy, but like if I eat fish on bread, I don't know if it's more calories or whatever, but somehow I'm really tired after. So notice as well what foods make you tired and plan around eating them at certain times. Because sure, it's fine to eat food that makes you tired. Just don't do it right before you want to work. Of course, it's also important to let yourself eat junk food once in a while. Don't like completely restrict it. Don't say like, oh, I can never have McDonald's. Oh no, it's poison. No, it's fine to have it once in a while. It's just don't make it a habit, especially not before working because it can really drain your mental energy. Now, fitness is something I'm quite passionate about. I really like working out. I really like calisthenics. I'm getting big. Not that big yet. I've only been doing this for a while and I haven't been eating enough. To really gain a lot of muscle. It's something I enjoy a lot. It's something that brightens up my day. And also, if it doesn't, it really brightens up your mind. It lets you think better. It also is great for your health. Like, just, if you're old and you have never worked out, you will feel much more old than if you do work out. Don't think you have to do calisthenics or weightlifting or whatever buff big man thing you need to do. You can also just go on a run. Just do anything you can. And it motivates you to actually do it. That you can do to improve your physical health. Now, I've noticed since I've been working out, I have seen a huge boost in my productivity. So I used to work like barely, and now I have like a usual, like normal person amount of work I do. And all of this happened relatively shortly after starting to work out. So sleep is incredibly important for your mental health and your productivity. I sleep personally from 7 to 8 o'clock to 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., depending on the day. I really recommend you having a set time where you go to bed and set time you wake up. This really helps your sleeping schedule and your brain rhythms to work right and for you to actually feel awake when you need to feel awake. Don't sleep less on the weekends or more on the weekends than you do in the rest of the week. Just make sure you can stick to it fully your entire week. If you're one of those people who say, oh, I don't need that much sleep, I can get by on like 5 hours. You're wrong. I'm sorry to say this, but you are just wrong. Most likely, you're not in the group of people who can sleep like 2 hours a day. You're going to need 8-ish hours, generally speaking. Then that's average. If you need more, that's fine. If you need like an hour less, sure, maybe, but really consider, do I really only need an hour less? Or do I really need 8 hours? Because, sleep is the single most important thing in your life, basically. I have recently started having a whole routine behind my sleep. I'll go into that maybe in another video, but sleep is usually important for your game development. And do not think, oh, but I can only work on my game if I skip sleep. Don't skip sleep. Do anything else you can to get more time to work on your game. Because that time, even if it's an hour compared to 3 hours of skipped sleep, if you work 1 hour with good rest and good focus, it will be way more effective than those 3 hours of, oh, I'm so tired, but I gotta work. Don't think that low quality work is the same as high quality work, because it absolutely is not. If you are not rested, you cannot work quality work. So let's go back over everything I talked about here. Meditation, journaling, great things, great tools to improve your mental health. Your physical health is hugely important too. And go outside. Now, of course, all of this is very difficult to stick to. All of this is very, it's hard, of course. I understand that. But try your best. See this as way more important than most people do, because most people just think, oh yeah, my mental health is sure, it's good enough. I don't need to meditate because my brain works good. All of these things still have huge advantages, even if you're doing well in life. Alright, that was my video. Please like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. I've already told you this, but hey, go buy my game, and thank you very much for watching. I hope you'll actually implement the steps I talked about in this video, and improve your mental health. Goodbye.